But let's move on to a different basketball, the WNBA. Caitlin Clark. Boy, she put on a show against the New York Liberty. 32 points, tying a career record 7 threes she drained in a game. Those threes, champ, and again, Caitlin Clark, the reason why we talk about her so much because of the generational talent. Just watching her reminds you so much of Steph Curry. Just how she shoots the threes. She hit like 3 threes, deep ones. When she hit the third one, even Breanna Stewart, who is a star herself, she was even smiling and laughing. She was like, I can't believe it. And the thing is, Chip, this was her first game back since the injury. And she wasn't even in shape and in condition. There was even times she had to take herself out of the game. But man, she put on a show. And given the New York Liberty their first loss of the season. We also had Angel Reese the other day against the Connecticut Sun. First time in her career, she put up a triple-double. And even though Angel Reese, I've said it, champ, she still needs to work on her scoring, her shooting. That's something she must improve on. But overall, I liked what I saw. Her rebounding, that's her expertise. She can be a very good playmaker. She can be good as far as running up in transition if she wants to, champ. Not all the time, but from time to time. And her passing. Some of the passes that she made, I was very impressed and pleased. And then Nafisa Collier. She put on a show, 32 points. I think she had like 26 points in the first half against the Los Angeles Sparks. I think the coach wanted to stay there longer because she could have tied or break her record, which was 35 points. But for me right now, and there's actually a really good WNBA game as we speak right now. There's actually the Indiana Fever going up against the Connecticut Sun. We got the Mystics versus the Sky. We got the Valkyries against the Dallas team. You got Las Vegas up right now, 12 points, 31-19 to the Minnesota Lynx. But to me, champ, if the season ended today, I have Nafisa Collier. I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right. Is it Nafisa or
Nafisa Collier?
Nafisa Collier. I'm sorry, Nafisa Collier. Nafisa Collier, I have her as the MVP. She's leading the NBA in scoring. She's over 50% from the field, over 40% from three-point range, over 90% from the free throw line as I'm looking it up right now. I mean, this is really good. And plus, we got another good game, the Dream versus the Liberty right now.
Atlanta's up.
Yep, 72-65 Atlanta right now. But I'm glad we're talking more about basketball, champ, particularly with the Caitlin Clark, because before the WNBA ratings were down like 55%. But you look at those views from that Liberty, that Fever game, that was big.
Yeah, and I got the numbers wrong on the TikTok video. It was actually 2.9 million. But they scored higher than the Stanley Cup. So that was great within itself. And look, big ups to the New York market for making that happen too. It wasn't just one side. Because the thing is, people like to talk about the Caitlin Clark effect. But you have to think about this. Caitlin Clark was not in that. She was not in that NBA for that WNBA finals this past year, which was the highest rated WNBA finals in the last 20 years. Ever since the Houston Comets were rating a 4P. That was the highest ratings in history. And it got up to like 5 million. So big ups to the New York market as well. And the thing is, with the Indiana Fever, they could have beat them twice. Remember, they had that questionable call with the first one, even with Jonquel Jones with her in the game. Remember, the reason why they was able to pull away the second when people will blame the injury on Jonquel Jones, who was the finals MVP and a former MVP herself. So, yes. So there was a lot. So that was a very, very, very huge game for the WNBA to score higher than the Stanley Cup, which was at its peak. As far as the Fisa, I think it's hers to lose. It's MVP. Everybody talk about MVP this year. Asia Wilson, she unfortunately has been hurt this year. She's been out with a concussion. Caitlin Clark, she missed 5 games with the concussions because, like I said, due to injury. Not to mention, the only person that is close to her right now, as far as Nafisa is concerned, is Alicia Gray from that ATL. Yeah. And big ups to our partner from Madison, Georgia, that being BRF.
BRF Sports.
He warned us about the Atlanta Dream this year with Brianna Jones, Brittany Griner, Alicia Gray, and Ryan Howard. He warned us about them this year because we were talking about the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. He said, watch out for that front court in Atlanta with Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner and Alicia Gray because they're on demon time this year. And he warned us about it. So big shout out to BRF, man. He knew what he was talking about, and he got us to talking about it. As far as the WNBA is concerned, I'm glad we're talking about it. And I'm glad we're talking about it outside of the dad blame drama. I'm glad we are talking about basketball. That's what I'm glad that we're talking about. People can try to discredit Caitlin Clark's numbers. People can try to discredit Nafisa Poirier. People can try to discredit Angel Reese and her triple-double. You can try to discredit anything that you would like. But at the end of the day, in basketball terms, this is big. And those players are definitely making an impact for the future at this point. And quite frankly, I'm excited about it, man. These ladies deserve it. They're very, very talented. If people talk about the Caitlin Clark effect, you have to take into consideration the Las Vegas Aces sold out their season tickets and their arena every game 3 years in a row prior to her getting there when they was winning championships. Remember, they were in the limelight long before she got there. Asia Wilson, Candace Parker, Kelsey Gray, all of those great players in that Las Vegas Aces team. They were on the map before she even got there. They were on the map. They were on the map so far that Clay Travis, remember the controversial take that he had with when they won their second consecutive championship, when they said that he would take a high school boys team and put them against the WNBA champions, and they will put up $1 million apiece. They were already in the limelight. Controversial or not, they were already in the limelight. So guess what? With you already being in the limelight and the limelight being extended, that is just going to be even greater than what it was. So big ups to all of these great WNBA players, man. And you can try to discredit them all you want to, but guess what? The more you try to discredit, the more you're watching. And that's the most important thing.
What did you think about Angel Reese with her triple-double champ? Because even though I'm kind of happy for Angel Reese, it doesn't seem like she's not getting enough love. And is it because of the controversy with Angel Reese? I'm like, at the end of the day, she put up a triple-double. And they'll nitpick and say, well, it was against the Connecticut Sun. They were 2-7. I mean, she was going up against, even though she's not what she used to be. Tina Charles is still a damn good woman. I used to watch her back in her days in UConn. I even met her and her father. But when I look at Angel Reese, I still think she needs to work on her shooting. Even the great Lisa Leslie said that's something that we got to work on, particularly inside the paint. But overall, I thought she played very well. And they'll nitpick, and people in the media and the public, they'll nitpick. They'll look at the shooting percentage. They'll look at the competition. They'll also look at the technical foul. And if you look at the technical foul, her hair was getting pulled back. Last thing you want to do to a woman, trust me, I know because I go to the hair salon. I mean, I spent $150 getting my hair braided. One thing you know about people, especially women, they don't like getting their hair pulled. And Angel Reese has that. Angel Reese has long hair, and she had every right to feel that way. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like people are just nitpicking, champ, because We had this discussion on Babyface Heel with Brett Favre and Michael Vick. And you've told me before, hey, even though Michael Vick, he's changed his life, he's no longer in prison anymore, he's rehabilitated himself, people will still always bring up what led to him in Leavenworth. But with Brett Favre, with all the controversies that he had throughout his career, they still look at him from the glory gridiron days. You mentioned before selective amnesia. It's how they want to remember them. And it seems like for me with Angel Reese, they want to remember Angel Reese for all the negativity. But hey, you better give them their flowers right now because you don't know what could happen. And Angel Reese had a heck of a game despite the shooting performance.
If you really look at the shooting performance, the reason why it was that way, she scored 7 of those 11 points going to the free throw line because they was fouling her every single time. That's the bottom line. And if you really want me to be honest about it, stop trying to nitpick over some. I understand that Angel Reese, in the court of public opinion, I will say, is polarizing. But the thing is, give people credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
Was it a pretty triple-double? Nah, not necessarily. But we've seen stuff like that before. We saw it when Russell Westbrook, he had a few not so pretty triple-doubles. But like Jimmy Johnson used to always say when he was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, don't be pretty, be good. And Angel Reese was damn good. She was damn good. So give credit where credit is due. And guess what? Caitlin Clark, she got her triple-double, one of her monster games from losing at the expense of a losing team. If you had to ask yourself, if this was anybody outside of Angel Reese, would we really care how they got triple-double? Heck no. We'd be singing their praises, clapping our hands, amening, saying that, hey, especially with her going from a power forward to being kind of like a point forward, a Scottie Pippen type of forward at this point, we'll be clapping our hands, amening, or anything else like that, and we'll be clapping and singing her praises if it was anybody outside of Angel Reese. But because it was Angel, because people want to remember that You Can't See Me from the national championship game, and as I've been on record and saying, everybody wants to be class policemen, class when their favorite player does not win, then hey, everybody want to say something out of pocket. But let me say this. Look, love someone or hate someone, give them their flowers. They did a good job. And outside of that, y'all was talking crap. The masses was talking crap all weekend. Me bounce, me bounce, me bounce. Not only did she go out there and score a triple-double, but she patented the next day. So now she's about to make even more millions.
Smart.
So, not to mention, she's having a hell of a game right now against I personally compare her to in the form of Kiki Ariafi. So she's having another big game tonight. She already has 12 points and 6 rebounds, going 5 for 6 from the floor, going 5 for 7 from the floor. So she's getting ready to shut your behind up again.
With 3
So
assists.
what are you going to say after the night? What are you going to say? Give people their flowers while they can still smell them, and acknowledge when people are making strides in order to be better players. I understand that Angel Reese is more Hollywood than Caitlin Clark, and that was the attraction with Bird and Magic. Bird wasn't out necessary at the award shows. He wasn't in commercials all the time. He wasn't at the Playboy Mansion. He wasn't doing any of that. What made them so special is that they were different. And now that Angel Reese is getting better and this team is getting better and it can become a rivalry, let's just let that be that. We wanted a rivalry. Now that it's coming into fruition, let's have it. And let's give this thing a whirl. And the thing is, I will say this. For right now, because we don't know how good Angel Reese is going to be 2-3 years from now. For now, Caitlin Clark has the edge over Angel Reese. But people do not want to acknowledge this. Angel Reese does not have a Kelsey Mitchell and a Leah Boston. or DeWanna Bonner or any of those players that she inherited when she first got to that team. The Chicago Sky have not done a good job in trading the best players in order to get good players around those twin towers that they have in the form of Cardozo and Angel Reese. They have not done a good job with that. They let go of Marina Mabry. Kennedy Carter's gone. Yes, so they have not done a great job with managing that team the way they're supposed to. So she's got a triple-double on you last night. The other night, I'll say. Now she's almost at a double-double right now and is 5 for 7 from the floor. What are you going to say if she get another triple-double tonight? Just acknowledge it. They're the two youngest players to ever get a triple-double. The two youngest to get a triple-double. The two youngest. And when people are making strides with their game and adding extra dimension, that deserves acknowledgement. Because remember, she was getting criticism all year long last year. She doesn't make her team better. She doesn't have. Okay, now she's made strides on the defensive side. Now she's made strides as a facilitator. She's averaging at least 1.5 steals and a half a block a game. She's a monster on the rebounding. Now she's adding extra dimensions to that. So now, okay, just chill out. And for people who are going to say, well, she's not that good, are you aware that two people can occupy the same space of greatness at the same time? Although I might not be as great as you are. You can cheer for another one without bringing the other one down. I think that the media and,
public,
a little bit of everybody, you can't just blame one side, like to create bull jive narrative that have nothing to do with basketball. If we're just talking about basketball, from a basketball standpoint, there's a reason why Angel Reese was named National Player of the Year, why she was an All-American, why she was a national champion, why she was an All-Star, why she's on the verge of being an All-Star this year, why she had a triple-double last night. I made the comparison earlier in the draft process. Her and Sadua Sanders are kind of the same in the sense that depending on who you ask, they will tell you they're not that good. But if you look at the stat sheet and you look at the accolades, they're there with anybody. So, of course, people are going to have their doubts. That was an ugly triple-double. We saw Draymond Green get an ugly triple-double where he only scored 4 points and got a triple-double. I think he had 10 assists, 10 steals, and 14 rebounds. But it was acknowledged he didn't care about scoring. He cared about winning. And people keep comparing Angel to Draymond Green. She's the Draymond Green of the WNBA. Okay, and Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer.
That's not.
He's a defensive player of the year.
That's not negative to say to compare her to a Draymond because we know what Draymond provides as far as his defense, leadership, and his facilitating. I just think, champ, it's who we like. When we like someone, we will do everything to sing their praises and give them their approval. But it's someone that we particularly dislike. We just want to throw stones at them. And I think it's unfair to Angel Reese because, again, if you look at the first half, she's averaging, she already got 12 points, 6 rebounds. She's on pace to give you 24 points, 12 rebounds. And if she does that, I know damn well you're going to do a video about it, which you will on TikTok, talking about it.
Yes, because she's doing it against a person that I compared her to. I personally compare her to Kiki Ariadne.
Yes, and I like the Shedeur Sanders analogy because, again, they are Hollywood in terms of their personalities, but at the end of the day, can they play? Can they produce? Mm-hmm. And to me, as long as you can do that, that's fine with me. But I think just with Angel Reese, I don't want to put her in the same breath with Caitlin Clark. I think Angel Reese can be very good. I think she still has time. She still has, she's 23 years old. She has a lot to prove. She's only in her second year. Let's wait and see. Would I say would I say Angel Caitlyn rivalry as of yet? No, because I think Caitlyn is just on a different level from a talent and from a skill standpoint, champ, than Angel Reese. But but that doesn't mean that Angel Reese can't contribute. That doesn't mean Angel Reese can't play. That doesn't mean Angel Reese doesn't belong in the WNBA. I just still think she needs time to grow and improve and evolve her game. But I still believe she'll be good.
Yes. And it's okay that somebody's better than you for the time being. It's
There's no
okay.
shame to
We
that.
all acknowledge. No, we all acknowledge that Caitlin Clark. The thing is about Caitlin, she's ahead of a lot of point guards that are 3-year veterans. Not just Angel. She's ahead of a lot of the women that are in the WNBA that have been in there for years, as far as the guard position is concerned. So she's ahead of a lot of the pack as far as that. She was a rookie making all NBA. She was an MVP candidate just last year. So she was ahead of the curve for a lot of players who were already in the WNBA for years. Even Rossi also, she had strong criticisms about Caitlin Clark. She even acknowledged, yeah, I'm living in my own reality. So it's okay. We acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is light years ahead of not just Angel, but a lot of players who were in the WNBA. She was all NBA last year as a rookie for a reason. She was an MVP candidate for a reason. But the thing is, you don't have to tear one person down in order to big someone up. It's kind of like the whole Jordan, and I hate it's a bad comparison. It's kind of like people try to drag down LeBron in order to big up Jordan. You don't have to do that. And the thing is this. She was drafted 10th overall for a reason. Well, excuse me, she was drafted 7th for a reason. She was drafted 7th for a reason. She's outshining the person who was drafted above her for a reason. They are putting her in different looks for a reason. She's getting better and better as every game passes for a reason. So what happens if she's able to bring this team back and they make a playoff run? What are you going to say then? And it's okay to acknowledge that Caitlin is ahead of her. Okay, cool. We acknowledge that. Nobody's saying that. Everybody realized that last year that Caitlin Clark was ahead of Angel Reese. But you also have to take into consideration a lot of other factors. Angel Reese doesn't have a Kelsey Mitchell. She doesn't have an Aaliyah Boston. She doesn't have a lot of the great players that she doesn't have a Sophia Cunningham, a Lexi Hole. That organization in Chicago is very, very dysfunctional. They've made a lot of bad trades. So with that being said, you have to take into consideration everything. People don't like to acknowledge this, but the thing is that bird and magic thing does not work if it doesn't work if Magic Johnson goes to the New Orleans Pelicans, where they have no talent on that team, and Bird goes to the Boston Celtics, who is a model franchise. It doesn't work if it's that way. If Magic and I know the New Orleans Pelicans did not exist back then for the audience out there, but I'm just making an analogy. If Magic would end up going to the New Orleans Pelicans, rather than a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, who had talent like Kareem, like Norm, I was an all-star before Magic, Nixon, like a Bob McAdoo, like a Kurt Ramage, like an Adrian Dantley. If he doesn't go to a model world-class organization with an owner like a Dr. Buss, are we really talking about that rivalry to this day like we are? Because that's one factor that people like to leave out of it. Yes, Bird and Magic were talented in their own right, and they were very, very similar. But the key in that rivalry was they went to model organizations. Chicago Sky are not a model organization. They have not did a good job with managing the talents that they have. They have not. But what they have done in developing Angel and putting her in different looks and turning her into a point forward where she's running the floor. She's able to be a defensive stopper, where she's able to get even better at her rebounds, even better at steals and blocks and things of that nature. The way they've been able to develop her and Cardoza, not to mention HBL, that's amazing, the development process that they put these players through. But let's acknowledge, they have not done the best job of bringing veteran leadership to that organization or anything of that nature. Matter of fact, like I said, last year they traded both of them. They traded Marina Mabry, and they got rid of Kennedy Carter, who was their high scorer last year. So when you take that into consideration, they're not on the even playing field when it comes to teams. But that's no reason to bring Angel Reese down or knock her. Because like I said, Angel Reese does not have a Kelsey Mitchell to lean on if she's out for, let's say, 2 to 3 games. There's not that on that team. There's not that. So I know that no matter what she does, people are going to try to knock her. But, I mean, I think at this rate, the only way that Angel is going to really shut up the masses at this point is if she makes all NBA next year. I don't see it happening this year because there's so many great bigs in the WNBA at this point. If she makes all NBA next year in the W or make a 3rd consecutive All-Star next year, I think that'll finally shut everybody up. But it remains to be seen.
Definitely remains to be seen, champ. But Nafisa Collier, she has to win. Nafisa Collier. Well, look, you're the one who you should be talking. You have a hard time pronouncing Michael Parsons' name.
Yeah, I do have to. I don't even pronounce his name no more. I just say Parsons. I just say his last name like I'm in the military still. But yeah, MVP. Yeah,
MVP. She should win it. And right now she's leading the WNBA in scoring, averaging around 26 and 8. Over 50% from the field, over 40% from 3, over 90%. Minnesota Lynch, they have the best record right now in the WNBA. And she is coming back off an injury. And you said she's coming back with a vengeance. So I think it should be her at this particular point.
Yes, indeed, man. And like I said, Alicia Gray from the ATL should be considered in that as well. But like you said, man, I think it's Nafisa Warriors to lose at this point, especially with Asia Wilson being out and the Las Vegas Aces not looking that good at this point, although they are beating the Lynx right about now as I'm looking at it. So
39-30 at halftime.
Yes, indeed.
And if you're looking at right now, the Fever, they're beating the Connecticut Sun 87-70, and that looked like that game is about to be over.
Yes, indeed.
She better win the MVP if the season ended today.